How are you doing today, guys? If I had to pick one GEC knife that I've carried the most out of all of them, it'd probably be this one. This is the GEC Viper. It's the model number 47. It's their take on the sway back pattern with the Wharncliffe blade on it. This one is covered in Bacote wood, and I love the character of this wood on this particular one. It's spotty, much like a leopard print or something like that. I love it. This is off their excuse me. This is off their Tidy Ute line. So there's no fancy swedges. There's no fancy threaded bolsters. And it's an exotic wood, but it's not really rare. So this is kind of the basic version of the Viper. So it's priced that way too. So this, I think it's around $80 maybe. Just look around. I was really drawn to the Tidy Ute versus the Northfield version. The Northfield version has a swedge, and normally I love swedges, but I don't particularly care for them on this Wharncliffe blade. But individual taste may vary. I love how this has like a really subtle gradual swedge that kind of rolls in from the top. It comes down to the tip. Also on this version there was no billboard markings on the blade, which I really dig. Not that I dig the billboard stuff on there. What I say is I dig that it's a clean, sterile look. And I also, on this particular one, I like that there's no threading or anything. This is just a very basic knife. I think it doesn't really need much to dress it up. That real sway back frame and all these lines, there's no extra details here that kind of draw your eye away from just looking at that profile. It's gorgeous, at least in my opinion here. And also very useful. Very useful. It's hit or miss. I've talked to a few guys that got them and just said they were not for them. So they sold them or traded them or whatever. A lot of people are not used to the way that this frame kind of kicks up in the rear. I find it really comfortable. And it's really comfortable in this position upside down, right? So if you do a lot of pull cuts, pulling through paracord, or I cut a lot of my cardboard upside down like this, it works. When I peel an apple, it's like this, so everything makes sense. And then when I go to pop tape on boxes or anything like that, it's comfortable that way for myself. Nice size on it. It's a lot larger than the case swayback. I'll show that one in a second here. Let's put that down and show that off. I still love the case swayback. I do. But lately I've been carrying the Viper more. But let's go ahead and get a size comparison on them. This feels like a little X-Acto knife, which is why I love it so much. And I still carry it. Just, it seemed to have been bumped out by this one. This has a little bit more blade length on it. A little bit more handle, and this feels like a main knife, like you would reach this if you're carrying this. Personally, I reach for this first, right? Where this would be like, oh, I have a small detailed task that I need to do. This is where this would come out. So it's just, if you pair knives like I do with your modern folders, it's nice to have a nice little X-Acto knife on you. But also it pairs up well with this larger Viper. Let's get it up against the 25. I know these are crazy comparisons here, but I know a lot of people have some of these knives here. So anyways, I pair my traditional knives up with my modern folders. And right now, I'm kind of digging the Viper over the case. Just this a little bit larger size, it's a little bit lighter. I'm not a big wood guy when it comes to knives, but when I seen the character in this particular one right here, I just had to have it. And now after carrying it around for a while, I think I'm a convert. It's light, It's nice. If I drop it, I don't feel like I could chip any bone or anything like that, where if you drop something that has bone on the handle, you know, you could get a crack in it, which certainly your wood could crack as well. But I just feel like it would take a hit. Actually, I know, I mean, I've dropped this about twice on concrete and didn't do anything to it. Nice walk and talk. When it hits that half stop, it does sit just a little bit proud. Nice snap close. Blade's nice and centered in there. No gaps. I really don't have to say this with GECs. Just really nice. Their spring ends up on a nice 90-degree cut here. Sometimes in traditional knives, sometimes this gets a little bit uneven here. So I always look for that. You know, I go both ways too on these liners. Some days I really like the brass on here, and then other days I like the all stainless look. So I can't really say which one I prefer better. It just depends on the day you ask me. So these liners are stainless here, and you can see that, look, this looks like a solid piece of material here, right? Where this looks like a sandwich layered look, but it's kind of nice. It looks like a pinstripe on a car or something. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. This particular one has the, I call it the hot dog shield. I don't know what the official name, bar shield maybe. But it looks like a foot-long hot dog or something set down on top of it. I'm weird, whatever. I don't know, I just think this knife, the lines on it look gorgeous closed. They look gorgeous open. It's a really nice, useful Wharncliffe blade. Nice large blade. Fits in your hand with a full 4-finger grip. Of course, with most traditional knives, you get this nice contour, so it just feels really nice. The wood is nice and light. I think this knife is just a complete home run. The pull on mine is about a 7, but I've heard reports of guys where it's up near an 8, which really for me, I can pinch it open, so it's not really a problem. You can see the blade is 1095. I've been using the heck out of this one. These have been popping a lot of boxes. I'm in the wine business, so I'm opening boxes a lot. Real nice, like a matte gray finish here on my patina. If you guys want like a real even patina, the best way that I've found, just let it naturally happen. If you cut an apple or something, wipe it off. Don't let it sit on the counter. You just want to make the... I'm not telling you what to do, but if you want a nice even patina, mine's a little bit splotchy here and there. But of course that's going to happen. That's the character in the patina. But you can see the difference between a forced patina and a nice natural patina. And I'm not saying which one's better. They're both the same thing, right? They're both patina. But you can tell, like this one, literally I just stuck it in a Granny Smith apple overnight and then pulled it out in the morning and rinsed it off. So you can almost see where it pierced the seed and kind of sat in the core of the apple. I don't know, you can force a patina by dipping them in vinegar and all kinds of stuff. So, but if you want like a natural patina and you want it nice and even, just kind of use your blade and use it on food. Wipe it off when you're done. And then don't put any oil back on it. If you do not want a patina, you just wipe it down and then kind of hit it with some mineral oil or some other food safe protectant. And if I wanted to, this patina would come off. If I just spent maybe 5 minutes on a strop and just strop the whole blade, it would come off. So, as long as you're not pitted. If you get your patina and it turns into like a rust and kind of pits into your blade, that's a pain to remove. Nice thin tip. You're not going to want to do any prying with this knife, of course. But it's really useful. You can pierce right into bags of dog food or whatever you need to cut. Of course, you guys know the characteristics of a Wharncliffe blade. When that point is dropped all the way down like that, it puts a lot of pressure on that tip when you go to cut. Say versus something with a belly on it. I have a few knives here to show, but you guys know what I mean. That tip just sinks down into. So when I open boxes a lot, this Wharncliffe blade is about the best I've found. Any Wharncliffe, not just this particular knife here. Really useful. I just love this knife. Cuts great. 1095. Yep, I love it. You can just drop it up at the end of the day and it comes right back to razor sharp. Love the lanyard option. You can put it on there. So that's it. That is the GEC model number 47 Viper. This is their kind of base model of the Tidy Ute line. You're still getting the same fit and finish. You're just not getting like the threaded bolsters. You're not getting the deep swedges. And sometimes the more exotic materials are in that upscaled Northfield version. So anyways, I think it's a winner. I highly recommend it. I don't feel like it replaces the case, but I do find myself carrying it more than the case lately. So I guess you can take that for whatever it means. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Have a lot more coming, and I just really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. See ya.